Hello everyone, welcome to Coder and Boots. In this session, we are going to discuss about how to pass credentials to the Git CLI. So, passing credential is very important because not all the repositories are public. When you are interacting with or when you are dealing with private repositories, you need to pass the credentials. Then only the authentication will happen and you will be able to interact with that specific repository. So here I am going to show how to pass credentials. Okay, so let's get into the command line. So let me open the Git CLI. So here we have the Git command line. So let us clone a private repository which is with me. So yeah, so what we need is we need to basically generate the credential. So for that we need to go to the Git user account. So depends on the service provider. I am using right now GitLab. So in GitLab it is in the user account, you will see something called edit profile. Inside edit profile you will see something on the left hand side called access tokens, and there you can see personal access tokens. Okay, so here you can generate personal access token, and then you can specify what all permissions you need. So if you are just dealing with repositories, you just need read and write repository permission. If you're interacting with the registry and the remaining things, you can select whatever permissions required. But if you are just interacting with the project repository, you just need read and write repository permission, so that this token can read and write to the repositories. Okay, so and once you generate this token, it will be just valid for this expiry period. Okay, so you can specify the expiry period over here. So I'll set it till maybe tomorrow. Okay, then yeah, and then once you create this token, make sure you remember it, because you will not be able to access it again. It's a credential. Okay, so copy the credential. So the generation of personal access token is something similar in case of GitHub as well. So it is similar in the other repositories, basically Bitbucket, or if you go to any other service provider, it will be something similar. Somewhere in the user account you will see an option for personal access token. Okay, so there you can generate this token. Once you have the token, then what you can do is git clone. Okay, so anyway, I'm just keeping this credential public because I'm going to remove this immediately after this video. So once you generate this, now next is we are going to let's try to clone that repository. So here you can see this is a private repository at the top. Okay, so I have taken this URL. So git clone and then paste the URL. See now, oh sorry, it's not an empty directory, so let me clear it first. Okay, now I am cloning. So now you see a pop-up will come. Okay, yeah, now you see on this side a pop-up came. It's asking me for credential. Okay, so right now this is a machine which has a GUI, that's why this pop-up came. So but there are let's say if I am working on a machine which doesn't have a GUI, it has just the command line. So how to pass this token? So that is what I am going to show here. The first option is, if you have GUI, you can just sign in with browser or pass the credential here. Username, personal access token, pass it here, or username, password, pass this credential, sign in. It will basically sign in. Another option is so like this. Okay, so now you see once I cancelled it, another pop-up came asking for the credential. Okay, so it's basically like this. From the command line itself we can pass the credential. Okay, so let's cancel this command. Okay, and then let's try to pass the credential here itself. So let me close this. Git bash. Let's open this, then cd workspace. This is my working directory, and then okay, so this is the place where I was in. Okay, now let's do git clone. Okay, let's basically clone the repository again. So paste, it's a URL. So the syntax is, I'll copy this. So the syntax is basically git the clone or whatever command you have, the URL of the git. Here I mean you have to pass the username, git username, okay, then colon git password or token. So here I mean you can pass the password of the token, then at the rate, then the remaining part. So here what we have, gitlab.com flyway test, right? So here you can pass the remaining part. That means gitlab.com. So at gitlab.com/coder-and-boards flyway test kit. This is what's the syntax. So in here I mean I'm going to this syntax. What I'm going to do is I'm going to replace it with my credential. So I'm going to pass the username and password. Username is coder in boots, and password I need to pass the secure credential. Okay, so if I am not passing the password, what will happen is it will ask for the password alone. Here I mean if you see, I just passed the username. If I want to pass the password, if I don't pass the password, it will prompt me to enter the password. Otherwise you can even pass it here. So let me copy this credential, okay, and then paste it here. So now it has the username and the password combination. Now let's try to execute that. Okay, you see it's not prompting for any username password. It basically cloned the repository directly without asking anything, because the password, username and password was already passed. Okay, and if you are using a Windows machine, what will happen is this will get saved inside the Windows Credentials Manager. So if you want to remove, you can remove it from there. I will show you where it is. Go to Control Panel, User Accounts, then Manage Windows Credentials. You see under Generic Credential, you will see the credential. It was modified today, and whatever I have entered over there, it got saved. If you want to remove, you remove it from here. Okay, it will get removed from there. So this is how we pass the credential. And let's say now I have removed, right? So let's try to open it again. Okay, so let's remove this username password here. So it will ask again. It will ask again for the username and password. You will see a pop-up on the bottom. It will start. Yeah, it started asking me for the credential. It's asking for the username and password. So here also you can enter. So this is the username, and now it's asking for the password. So password I am just copying and pasting it here. Enter the password. Now you see it worked. It again cloned. Okay, so this is how we pass the credential. This is something common or standard for all Git repositories. So I hope this video is helpful. So if you have any questions or queries or feedbacks, please comment below this video, so I'll respond back to you. Thank you for watching this video.